you guys. Okay, so I just want to show you how I do my braid out. I have mixed feelings about braid outs. I feel like I usually like the results. Sometimes they don't come out as the way I want, but on the most part I like the results. However, I just feel like it's a little bit more work than a twist out, and the results are really similar. Like the curls you get, depending on the size you do your twists, are really similar. So I don't do braid outs a lot, but every now and then I like to switch it up. So check out how I do it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, so the products that I use to begin is my homemade shea butter. I use a little water. I use my Kinky Curly Leave-In conditioner, and I am going to use some flaxseed gel. So my hair is washed and it's pretty much dried. It's a little damp, but pretty much dried. I wash, detangle, and let this sit, kind of just put it in a couple braids after I detangle it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water and I'm going to saturate that entire section. I like to do this on dried hair just because braids take a long time for my hair to dry. So I like to start out with dry hair and then just go ahead and re-moisturize. Okay, so once I moisturize, I just make sure that that water is saturated through the entire section. I then go about applying my products. I like to apply my conditioner first. So I add that conditioner in, add that extra moisturizing product in, and I saturate that through. Once I add that conditioner in, I go ahead and add that shea butter in to actually lock the moisture in. From there, I will comb this section out and start with applying or beginning my process on getting the braids. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this section and I'm going to separate it into half. So from there, what I'm doing is I'm taking some of that flaxseed gel, and this is just to get that extra hold, and I am applying that flaxseed gel. From there, I'm going to divide this section and I'm actually just going to braid this section into one single braid. So I'm braiding the section just into one single braid. So I braid all the way to the end, and then once I get closer to the end, I don't like to braid all the way down because I don't like the tiny crinkles. So I just simply twist it once I get closer to the end. I would say maybe an inch from the end. So I braid all the way down and I twist the end. From there, I'm going up to my next section. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just applying that flaxseed gel, and this is just to give my hair that extra hold. And now I'm going to make a clean part just because that one's kind of messy and nasty and I like clean parts. I'm going to make a clean part for this section, and I'm going to give this one good more comb out. From here, I am going to separate this section into two sections. So I'm struggling with this for some reason, getting this nice clean part, but I'm going to separate this into two sections. So once I separate it into two sections, I'm going to get that hair out of the way, and from here, I'm actually going to do a French braid. So I'm just going to simply French braid, apply this, and I'm going under. So it's an underhand French braid, and I'm just doing a small French braid going for that entire section. What I do is I combine loose braids with the French braids just so I can get the look that I'm going for. Sometimes when you do the braids, you have like the flat piece at the top, and then you have crinkles, and I don't like that. So I want the crinkle to be even throughout the whole process. So that's why I apply the French braids. So I'm doing the same thing with this. I'm just putting another French braid here, and I'm just applying down, and I do that same thing with the braid. Once I braid all the way down about an inch from the braid, I twist the end. This way, if I do individual braids all the way around, what it's going to do is make the braids too small, and I don't want that twist. So what I'm doing is I make sure that I do the French braids combined with the individual braids just so I can have that even braid all the way through. So that's pretty much how I do that, and I'll repeat this process throughout the sections. Okay, so this is what my end result looks like. One thing I want to point out is that the braids are the same size and that the underhand braids, so the individual single braids, are braided underhanded. So it matches the actual French braid. So you can have a uniform texture when you're taking out your braids, and all your crinkles will be in the same way. So from there, I just simply do my normal nightly routine. I'm going to allow this to dry overnight, and I am just going to wrap my hair up. I'm letting the braids hang out at the end and just kind of wrapping my hair up, just keeping those braids in place. So I let that dry overnight, and I'll show you the next in the morning. Okay, so next day, I don't do anything special. I take my coconut oil and I rub that through every braid, every section, just making sure that I get that all moisturized, and I make sure I leave it on my hands. I just simply unbraid. There's nothing special or unique about this process. I simply just unbraid. I don't do any extra unraveling yet. I simply am just going to unbraid all of the braids. Okay, so this is what the hair looks like after all the braids are taken down. One thing that is really good about the braid out is that when you take the braids out, it comes, because you have so many different sections, it automatically kind of starts unraveling. So you don't have to do a ton of unraveling. So I'm taking a little more of my coconut oil, and from there I'm just going to unravel it and separate it to my liking. So I'm just going to separate it again to my liking. You don't have to do a ton of separating again because of the braids. So I'm just going to do this for each section. And again, I'm just doing this to my liking. You guys may have known by now, I'm a big hair fan. And so I just want to get it separated enough to where you don't see the parts, as well as fluff it out enough to where it is to my liking. Okay, so once I get it separated the way I like, I then give my hair a really good shake. I use my pick just to kind of get those parts out of the middle, and I just finish up. So this is pretty much my braid out. You get a different crinkle than what you would get with a twist out. And here's some finishing picks. So I hope you guys like. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. Bye.